In the heart of the Galactic Academy combat arena, a holographic prey appeared, a simulated Krylon buck with razor-sharp antlers and advanced threat detection, Drind. The Academy's Predator Tactics instructor eyed his 23 students with a look of satisfaction. "This is your final examination," he announced, his scaled features glowing under the arena's blue light. "Capture protocols demand the target alive and unharmed. You have 4 hours to complete the task." Lorvac, a Dexian hunter whose species had perfected stealth ambush over millennia, was the first to step forward. His technique was flawless. He activated his camouflage, positioned himself downwind, and used neural dampeners to mask his presence. But the Krylon buck detected him from 40 meters away and bolted. "Failure, Drin," declared Tesria. "You are next." The Velmorian student tried a different approach, using micro-drones to herd the target into a capture zone. Within 90 seconds, the buck's threat sensors identified the pattern, and it escaped through a programmed gap. "Inadequate," Drin stated flatly, making notes on his datapad. 17 students failed one after another. They tried sonic nets, paralysis fields, and even pheromone manipulation. But the simulation adapted to every attempt, its artificial intelligence designed to challenge the galaxy's most elite hunting methods. Jericho Kane sat in the back row, watching in silence. The human had barely moved during the entire examination, his dark eyes tracking each failure with a predator's focus. "Human Kane," Drin called, his voice edged with skepticism. "You may attempt the examination." Jericho stood, slowly rolling his shoulders. As he walked toward the arena, Nyx, a crystalline Zephyron student, whispered to Lorvac, "Humans are not a predator species. They eat plants. They have forward-facing eyes, but their teeth are mostly flat. They are omnivores." Lorvac corrected quietly, "But yes, hardly specialized hunters." Jericho stopped at the arena entrance and looked back at Drin. "Clarification needed, instructor speak," Drin said. "The target," Jericho said, his voice carrying a strange weight. "You want it alive or in pieces?" The classroom fell silent. Drin's scales rippled with confusion. The parameters were explicit: alive and unharmed. "Just checking," Jericho replied. "Some instructors prefer efficiency over ethics." He entered the arena, and the holographic buck materialized immediately, detecting his presence. "But it did not run curious," Tesria murmured. "The simulation is analyzing him." Jericho did not use camouflage. He did not use technology. He did not even try to be stealthy. He simply started walking toward the buck at a steady, unhurried pace. The animal bolted. Jericho maintained his pace, tracking its movements. With subtle shifts of his head when it stopped 200 meters away, Jericho simply adjusted his direction and kept walking. "What is he doing?" Nyx asked. "He is not even trying to close the distance, he is just walking." Lorvac said, confused. 20 minutes past, the buck ran again. Jericho followed, never speeding up, never slowing down. His stride was constant, mechanical, relentless. 40 minutes. The buck's holographic body began showing stress indicators: elevated heart rate, rapid respiration, and growing panic. "Why does it not just maintain distance?" Tesria asked Drin. "The human moves at half the buck's speed." Drin studied his tactical display, his expression shifting from fascination to horror. "It is trying, but the human is not chasing. He is tracking." "What is the difference?" Nyx demanded. "Chasing has endpoints," Drin said. "Slowly chasing allows for escape. Tracking is mathematical. Tracking is inevitable." 1 hour past, the buck stumbled, its legs trembling. Jericho kept walking, his breathing controlled, his movements economical. When the buck hid behind holographic boulders, Jericho adjusted his path perfectly, never losing the trail. "This is persistence hunting," Drin said, his voice hollow. "I've only read about it in evolutionary xenobiology texts. No modern species practices this." "What is persistence hunting?" Lorvac asked. "You run down prey through sheer endurance," Drin explained. "You do not need speed or strength or stealth, you only need to outlast them. To keep coming until their body fails." 90 minutes. The buck collapsed its legs, giving out it was fully conscious, fully aware, and utterly defeated. Jericho walked up, kneeled beside it, and placed a hand on its shoulder. Target acquired, he said, calmly, alive as requested. The simulation ended. Jericho stood and walked back to the classroom entrance, showing no sign of exhaustion. The other students stared at him in shock and primal fear. How? Tessria finally asked. How is that possible? Jericho met her gaze. My ancestors ran down prey animals until they died from exhaustion. Not because we were faster, because we never stopped. Because we could regulate our body temperature through sweat while they overheated. Because we tracked them when they thought they had escaped. That is horrifying, Nyx whispered. That is evolution on a Class 12 death world, Jericho replied. We did not develop venom or claws or armor. We developed patience and endurance and the ability to decide when the chase ends. Drin consulted his evaluation criteria, his hands trembling. Score perfect time, 1 hour, 32 minutes. Target condition unharmed, but psychologically traumatized. The simulation's artificial intelligence experienced something it was not programmed to handle: inescapable pursuit. The prey knew it would be caught. It was only a question of when I asked about pieces, because sometimes instructors want us to demonstrate our species. Natural hunting methods. Jericho said conversationally, humans can sprint when needed, we can throw weapons with incredible accuracy. We can coordinate pack tactics, but you prefer pursuit, Drin said. We prefer inevitability, Jericho corrected. When a human decides to catch something, distance becomes irrelevant. Speed becomes irrelevant. Time becomes the only variable that matters, and humans have all the time in the world, later Drin uploaded his report, adding a new notation to Earth species file. Warning: humans practice persistence predation. They do not chase, they simply never stop coming. In the arena's memory banks, the simulation filed its own report, a single line of code that would be studied. For decades, error detected unstoppable force, no countermeasure exists. If you enjoyed the story, do not forget to like and subscribe for more stories like this one.